like after this is done, like this is the final bit of content that I'm doing from this apartment on my computer, and then after this, I'm breaking everything down and uh, like putting it all away.
You're about to be like the busiest finals weekend ever.
Dude, it's gonna be horrible. It's gonna like, by all means, I'm excited for this weekend, and I'm waiting to hear back from Verizon right now. Which actually, let me check my email, see if I heard anything back on it. But they might be hooking me up with something this weekend that I think
Nice.
would be a lot of fun if it works out. Yeah, I think I'll be able to, even though they haven't responded, I think I'll be able to talk about it. So you know how there's people who go in and test all the setups in the venue
Mhm.
before like the players go in, the play testers. Apparently, they're giving that out to people from Verizon and like a few others that have played League of Legends, and they asked in like the email, like, "Do you play League of Legends?" And I was like, "Do I?
Yeah.
Do I?" If you think that I'm gonna pass up on a chance to go play a game in the stadium on stage, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
It'd be
That'd
incredible.
be so cool.
I'm locking Varus right away and shitting on anybody. I don't care if they're Grandmaster or not. And as is proven by the 1v1 that I did in New York the other week, I can
Yeah.
beat challenger players on Varus.
True. True.
So what you been up to?
Actual retweet. Uh, just finished a date night
How'd that go?
and pretty good, pretty good. We're almost done with psych, so that's good.
That's cool.
Uh, and then just kind of overexciting myself for football.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just keeping myself amped by watching as much training camp stuff as I can because Anthony Richardson looks like he's not really a joke. It looks like he's actually going to be something if he can put it together.
Where do you think the Colts actually finish this year?
Not good. Probably like I would say they could get second in their division only because it's so
Yeah,
bad.
it's a
It's
very
not
weak
like,
division.
yeah, that would be the only reason. I don't think they should get second in their division. I mean, we could make the playoffs maybe because we don't play good teams because we've been sucking lately. So that helps. But I'd rather them be bad because they would end up with I want them to try to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Like,
Who all do you guys have? It's what, the Falcons? The
no, ours is
or
AFC South. That's the NFC South. Is the Falcons,
why am I
Saints.
blanking on? Oh, wait,
We're the
AFC. Hang
Titans,
on.
Jags. Oh,
Yeah,
my
wait.
bad.
Titans, the Jaguars, and
Hmm.
then shit, I'm just trying to remember because like Peyton Manning would always
Way
not the
south.
Charger. No, it wasn't the Chargers. Oh, the no Dolphins are AFC North.
More
Um,
west. Other one, more east. You did pick though, literally both coasts. No.
so wait, more east than the Dolphins?
Or no, more east than the Chargers. More west than the Dolphins. I was joking because you said the two teams literally on the two sides of America.
New Orleans is
Like,
AFC South or NFC South.
yep.
Tampa Bay is NFC South.
Do you want me to tell you the state they're in?
No, I need to be able to figure this out on my own. Um. Texans.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Took me
Yep.
a bit, but I got there.
Yeah, they're and the thing is the Texans aren't like good. Like they're not a good team.
Yeah.
So we're not worried about them. The Titans are whatever the Titans are trying to do. They like don't trust Ryan Tannehill at all, but they keep rolling him out there. And yeah, the Jags are really good, so
I'm sorry, I don't care about anything below the Mason-Dixon line.
I mean that's yeah, I don't blame you. Like,
That includes the Ravens. Fuck the Ravens. I don't care about them.
bro, they're very proud. I know people from Maryland and Baltimore, and they are very proud about that.
Yeah, because it's the
Like
only fucking
being
thing they got.
below the Mason-Dixon, which doesn't even make sense. Like,
Hmm. It somewhat does if you think about it.
well, I just mean it doesn't make sense being proud about it though. Why would you be proud about being on the losing side? Like,
ask that to people that live in North Carolina. And this is
True.
no disrespect to any of the people that might be watching this that are from North Carolina, but I can say this because I went to school there for 4 years. I would ask some of the people when we talked about like going to high school in North Carolina versus like high school in Pennsylvania, and I was like, one of the conversations that came up was like, how much did you talk about the Civil War in high school? And they were like, honestly, we spent about 2 weeks on it, and that was about it. I was like,
Wow.
2 weeks? 2 weeks? Are you kidding me? That was basically an entire semester for us. Like, that's a very integral part of U.S. history, and you spent 2 weeks on it? Are you... Oh, bro. I get you lost, but still.
Well, it's also surprising even more because, like, it's not like the South lost because they sucked. Like, they had really good generals and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you want to talk about it a little bit? They were kind of pretty good.
Because those good
I know they
generals,
got
you're not going to talk about...
absolutely messed them up. That's true.
You're not going to talk about those good generals. Why would you?
That's true. Because they were, fighting for a bad cause.
They were literally fighting for slavery, whether they agree with it or not.
Yeah.
And they just enjoyed the financial perspectives of it. They were fighting for slavery. And
that was, I think, the wildest thing of the whole war is it could have been stopped if, who was the head guy on the south side? I can't remember.
General Lee.
Yeah.
Was it
He
Lee?
was like...
Yeah,
sure
it was
Robert
Ulysses
Lee.
S. Grant for the north.
Yeah.
I think it was Lee for the south.
And you got him out here, like, absolutely cooking, great general, and he didn't even really want to fight that on that side. He just did it because that's where all his family lived, and he wrote about that. He was like, I'm doing this because my family's here. I'm not really a huge fan of all this stuff, but let's go do this. He literally could have stopped the war if him and Grant were together.
Oh, dude, that's the weird thing about it is like, if Lee would have just gone with the moral side, I don't even think the South stood a chance. Like, I don't think the war goes on for as long as it did.
No.
I mean, sure, like the guy that the town that I went to college at, General Bragg, like, by all means, like, he was also like a decent strategist, but like, there's no way that they win the war without him.
Yeah.
Or there's no way they even contend in the war without him.
I want to be clear, because Nick put the first thing I joined the South wasn't that bad. Bad people, not bad at fighting. That's what I meant before people clip it and ship it. Bad cause, bad people, decent at fighting.
So this is a very interesting point that I feel like a lot of gamers are not going to like this conversation to a certain extent, but because you're military, I have military family. For context, Emily's actually in South Carolina right now, down in Columbia, because my brother-in-law just graduated as a drill sergeant down there.
Oh, that's sick.
So they went down to the ceremony down there to celebrate everything there and like celebrate him. So like, military and wartime conversations are like ones that I'm very used to having with a lot of military family, that it's like, I don't know, it's interesting because like did I tell you my uncle was a drill instructor in the Marine Corps?
Probably a crazy person.
A little bit. But like, him and I have political talks where we'll sit down for like 3 hours. And it's one of those that like, if you sit there and just listen to what he says on face value, 9 times out of 10 people aren't going to be able to talk to him, because he has some of the most radically right points of view that you'll probably ever have. The difference is that, for context, he voted for Obama in 2008. He is a highly intelligent individual that I just feel like is manipulated by media a lot. So I have no problem waiting out conversations to talk to, like, let him get all this shit out and then appeal to his intellectual side and like just start challenging him like that. Because like, you know as damn well as I do with military people, when you get in that mood of just like, you're stuck on a one-track mind and you're just gonna drill it into the fucking wall until somebody gets that shit out of their system, you're not changing their mind on anything. Like, they're just gonna ride or die that opinion just for the hell of it.
Yep.
And you just gotta wait that out. You wait that out and then you're good.
No, I mean, you're
No,
100% right.
I know you're
Like,
reading Nick's comment and laughing.
yup. Not what I intended. Not what I expected. Whatever. I'm gonna stop talking about the Civil War, because the more I talk about it, the more people are just gonna headhunt me. I'm hosed. This is clip it and ship it territory.
It's okay. I think Speed's already got the headlines dominated today. You're good.
True. This is prime time to just put out like what was it, just say C9, great team. Probably gonna win it all. I mean, the only reason we're talking about the Civil War is because it's basically like what this weekend's about to be.
Yeah.
C9's about to power through everybody like it's
Seen
absolute freight train.
seen what's the policy that Grant imposed when going down the Mississippi River?
Oh, I don't.
Not scorched earth, but there's a specific military
Basically,
tactic. There's a specific military tactic that it's called where you literally just burn the ground behind you and just destroy all supply lines down the way, and that's exactly what he did when marching down like the Mississippi River. Like that's
I can
exactly
take a
what
look.
C9 is going to do.
Oh yeah,
C9, like if C9 was it raising? No, I don't think that's right.
probably.
Nah, was it?
I mean, it's the same idea. It's the same idea.
Oversimplified, like specifically said the word that I can picture like that scene. No, I'm not talking about raising the ground. I'm talking about the military tactic of literally going scorched earth, but it's not called scorched earth. Hang on. Now I need to look it up. Now it's
I
bothering
don't know
me.
what the actual term is. Like, it's just scorched earth theory, raising, like Nick said. Like,
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. You give your
kill
thoughts on
everybody.
C9.
I mean, really, like, I feel like unless a miracle happens with TL, because oh yeah, Sherman's March. Good point. Uh, like unless TL goes completely god tier, which not really expecting, because for a second they had me when they were up 2-0, and then Golden Guardians came back and they sealed it. TL does look very good, and I'll give them that. Piosik is stepping up a lot, but they still have to beat NRG, and they have failed to do that so far this playoffs. So, like, I don't know what's going to end up happening in that series. It seems like it's going to be pretty close. And then, to be honest, C9 is just going to do what they do. Like, C9 is just kind of, like, I don't know. C9 is really, really good. Like, they're just so good it doesn't even matter. Have
Apparently,
you found it?
apparently it was just called Sherman's March, and I'm thinking of the historical event, not like a term itself of like.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, do you? Is there a world where any team takes games off of C9? In your mind?
TL would be the one to take games off them. TL has the players that can do it. I will say, like, watching the series against Golden Guardians, Yeon, like, made me pretty happy.
Oh, he was fun to like watching him.
Yeah, Yeon is pretty good.
I remember you you would send me a few clips of like Gala and like tell me to watch like the LPL ADCs and playoffs, which
Yeah.
I started doing a little bit this past like postseason. And when Yawn started like just going in and playing balls to the wall, I was like, that's very LPL of you. That like it looked different. It like his Kaisa visibly
Yep.
looked different than any other North American Kaisa that I've seen. Even Berserkers. Like Berserker, yes, he'll still clean up kills, but like I didn't see that level of aggression that he showed.
Yeah. I mean, Yeon is, like, very exciting to watch. Honestly, they all are. Like, they have a very balls to the walls mentality as a team. Whenever they're behind, they seem to have that, like, belief that they can still fight, and they're still a good fighting team, which I think is very good for the league because we need teams like that. But
They were down what 10K against Golden Guardians in two of their losses, and were still like winning fights.
yeah, yeah, and they're very fun to watch. It's just like I don't know. I really hope they beat Energy because I think they're more suited for C9. They just can't seem to get to them. If they can, which I mean, they're pretty freaking close to them. So if they can get to them, I think they're good. But I just like, I don't know. They're C9 just has all the pieces, man. They have all the pieces. The only thing that could possibly be hard for them is if Piosik keeps playing out of his mind and Summit destroys Fudge, but at that point it doesn't matter because C9 is so good at team fighting, they just win anyways.
That's the
Like,
thing. That's the problem that I worry about is like, assuming Summit destroys Fudge, and APA is able to hold his own against M&S, and M&S, like either doesn't run it down, but like he's not able to affect the map in the ways that he can whenever he starts winning lane a little bit. And Piosik is playing the way he is, I can see a world where TL like gets some pretty significant leads on Cloud9, because Cloud9 has been giving up leads to a good bit of teams this playoffs. But the problem is you have to close it out, and that's the thing that international teams do well, but nobody here domestically does. And if TL can do that, this could be a very quick 3-0. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
In a world where it all clicks.
Yeah. C9 definitely is like the team that everyone would expect. Like, C9 going in the weekend, anything but them winning is silly and delusion. Probably, I mean, it realistically is true.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm not
silly.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like, oh yeah, this is how it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And TL's gonna win it by doing this. It's like, no, this should be a Cloud9 3-0. But there's no fun in that conversation. There's not much to say on it. Like, we can sit here and reflect on the legacy that Cloud9 has and talk about, their trophies and everything else, but like that's a conversation for next week. There's no point in doing that right now.
Like, is this title going to put Blabber very deep into the GOAT conversations now? Yeah, like this might cement him, to be honest. It might be the last one he needs to finish that off.
I don't think so.
Because this puts him at 6, right?
This will put him at 5.
5? My bad. I thought it put him at 6. Never mind.
This will put him at 5.
I'll take that back. Because 6 made me go, wow, he's right there. You know what I mean? Hear me out.
I said I didn't want to talk about it if C9 wins, but I kind of also have to entertain this because it's like the very clear path to this is like Blabber wins his 5th here. C9 probably picks up Jojo Pune over M&S, assuming the price tag isn't all that high. Like, I don't think M&S is going to stay on the team another year. Especially if they, like, here's the thing. And actually, this is a point of conversation that I really wanted to talk about. Because now, the C9 players have been talking about it. What happens if Cloud9 doesn't win a best of 5 or best of 3 against the Asian team at Worlds? Because they're sitting here saying that that's all that they care about. That they couldn't, like, winning finals is great, sure, but in several interviews in the post-game lobby that they were all in as a team, like, Sven has talked about it, even Fudge talked about it on the dive, is like, look, the only thing, realistically, like, winning is great. If we win the LCS title, cool, we're expecting ourselves to win, but we are practicing to beat the Asian teams at Worlds. And if that doesn't happen, then what?
Yeah.
It will have been 4 years if
Here's
they don't do it.
Like, I don't think it matters to me, but people very highly do value those World's performances and international performances in general. I mean, I was seeing stuff like, if Jensen makes it to this Worlds, is he better than Bjerg? You were tweeting stuff about that. And I was like, you people are wild.
I think that's fair.
He's like 3 titles behind Bjerg domestically.
Yeah, but who's made
with no international titles, and Bjerg has the only LCS or NA.
Okay. Yeah, come on. Let's agree that IEM does not count in the same capacity as semifinals at a Modern Worlds.
Everybody Well, okay, that one, but everyone was counting his MSI one as the big one. He made an MSI
No,
finals.
I count the World semifinals as more important than the MSI one because
And
they look like shit the entire tournament of
consistently,
MSI.
Jensen's like groups to get out had some weird flop or something. Like he made out of group with 2-4 record, a
Sure,
losing
but
record.
2018 is the exception. 2018
Yeah,
C9 was unbelievable. They were performing incredibly well in groups. They got out with a 4-2 record. Now, granted, they had I think it was an LPL team collapse, or no, they had an LCK team collapse. They had a Gen G go 0-6, but Vitality was still pushing them. If you remember, that was the Yamato Cannon coaching Vitality year. Like we beat them in the tiebreaker, or like we beat
yeah,
them
but
in.
I'm not like gonna give that as much weight as Bjergsen's excuses are a lot better, other than the 0-6.
And then we also, on top of that, 3-0 to Frika, who looked incredible in the group stage.
True. True.
So yeah, like I do heavily weight that Worlds more than I weight the IEM.
And the domestic titles?
Domestic titles, I think at least for me, international performance does play a part in it. Because you can't just carve out 3 months of the entire year. Like that's a large portion of it. That's part of the reason why we play to win LCS is to get to these international events. And I'm not gonna say it matters in the sense of like if you don't ever perform internationally, it doesn't matter because obviously if that was the case, I wouldn't weight Bjergsen highly at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you do perform well internationally and you are consistently doing these things to cement yourself in that status and category, then yeah, I do give that weight. Now I will say this. I just rewatched the entire TL Invictus Gaming series today. I threw it
You
on.
did.
I threw it on in the background while I was working, and just wanted to like listen to the death segments and do all that. Jensen was a big part of why they won that series. Granted, Ballon was underperforming in support, but Jensen was able to nullify Rookie all but one game that series, and that's incredible.
That is for sure. I can agree with that. I think my only like big disagreements I have with calling Jensen as good as Bjerg is that Jensen didn't go somewhere and like lead a team to titles. He joined a two-time champion, like back-to-back winning team to then win 2 titles.
That's why I needed him to go to Worlds with Dig, to be able to have him up in
Yeah.
that conversation of like, sure, if you're gonna hop around teams, like my standard of of grading you is gonna be different. You need to be able to consistently swap these teams and go to Worlds. Yes, he wasn't able to win a title with Cloud9, but he's able to go a little bit further than Worlds than Bjergsen. He goes to TL. Obviously, they do incredible during MSI and domestically, but then Worlds, they kind of underperform. 2020 with Team Liquid, he goes to Worlds again. Team Liquid misses out on getting out of group stage, goes 3-3. But Jensen looks really good that entire time. And this year, Jensen looked decent. And then he also just won last year as well on C9. Granted, got smashed internationally. So, like,
Yep.
I do think there's a valid argument to be made that, yes, his highs are not as high as Bjergsen. He's not, like, the most dominant player in the LCS, and he's never going to be. His playstyle just has never done that. But
Yeah.
there's something to be said about the Luigi compared to the Mario. If that makes sense. But that's kind of getting off topic though of Blabber.
Yeah,
on the
I
list
was
of
just going down that one because if that was the case, then I was gonna say like Blabber's probably already passed Bjerg and Double Lift to most people. Like, if it's about if they get through one of the Western teams this year, he's just gonna be the GOAT to people. If international success matters that much,
Yeah.
like that was more what I was gonna lead that into. Cause like if Jensen is considered equal to Bjerg just because of international things with like however many less titles. I don't really know how many Bjerg has. I think
Yeah.
it's like 5 or 6.
I think 6. And Double Lift
Yeah.
has what, 7 or 8?
Yeah, 7 or 8. Probably 7 and Bjerg has 6. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think so.
Like that would mean Blabber's basically past Bjerg after this title of LCS to most people.
Yeah, he's got more MVPs at that point, I think. Would he?
Like he would have just I don't know about MVPs. It doesn't really matter. If they just win one best of 5 at Worlds, he's better to most people, I'd assume.
I mean,
Like
MVP gets revealed this weekend. Let me
it's
ask.
not gonna be him.
I can't reveal who I voted for yet for very obvious reasons, but I'm
I just
curious.
don't
Like,
think it'll be Blabber.
how do you think voting goes down?
It'll probably be something like Berserker or JoJo.
Who do you think gets
People probably Berserker. People like ADCs a lot right now.
it? Okay.
I just think maybe Blabber would get MVP, but I don't think people really value that.
Okay. I can't.
Like,
I literally can't. Say
maybe they
anything.
do value Blabber, but I just think they haven't really. People haven't valued Blabber a ton this season, like I thought they would, because it looked like he was playing insane for a little bit. But
I will be able to go into my voting. I think they're gonna reveal it on Saturday, like they normally do, prior to the final series, as they reveal who got it.
but that is wild. Reading people say giving Jensen mental fortitude as a strength. That's crazy to me because when he came into the league, he was just known as a choker.
Yeah, I can't give mental fortitude is not like something that I'm like when valuing like a GOAT list.
Yes.
Your ability to not tilt is not my consideration. Like that's
I think he
that's,
probably more means like his ability to hold on for dear
I know.
life. Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying.
When things got tough, but
I
don't think he really was mental fortitude as much as just doing the KD move isn't really mental fortitude to me.
No, I agree. I will say this.
Remember at the time when that happened and I said he's just doing what KD did?
Yep.
And everyone in the Optic Discord flamed me?
Oh, yeah, they got really pissed.
Yeah, everybody said I was an idiot and I was wrong. And now 3 years later, everybody says that's how he won his titles.
Yep. Well, until he went to C9 this past year.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, even then, well, still, technically, he joined a winning team because they just won in summer prior to that. Oh, wait, no. What am I... Wait. Am I thinking that right? No, he was on C9 all last year, right? Because he came in... Oh, no, he came in summer because he replaced Fudge. Because Fudge role swapped to mid for that really weird bit with LS coaching, and then Fudge went back up to top lane after Summit went back to LPL. Okay, now that makes more sense. Yeah, so he literally is KD. He comes in the C9, helps them win.
Yeah,
with like a stacked roster that just kind of fell apart because of coaching decisions.
but hey, I'll give it this: C9 has a lot of titles lately.
They do.
And they add another.
Did you watch the replay files on Sven?
I didn't want to watch it. It's not really my cup of tea what they're talking about.
I'm telling you, I think it's worth it. Like I know it's gonna
salty wound.
I know. Believe me, Sven, you will grow to love Sven because of it. Because he embodies everything that I know you're gonna feel about that moment. You will really like it. And honestly, like watching that made me kind of take a step back and just be like, I'm very harsh on Sven as a support because I don't feel like the support role in NA has like really stepped up to the level that like EU has. But with that in mind, Sven is literally if they win this finals, Sven is only 2 titles away from Caps. Caps has 9, which is the most of anybody in the West. I think Doublelift does have 8.
Is that counting his winner one?
No, that's only I think including like stadium finals and like actual like things like that. The splits do not count, I believe, for Caps. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they don't.
Makes sense.
So Sven has 3 LEC titles. If he wins this, he will have 5. Oh, that includes the 2 this year. Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much, but whatever.
The fact, yeah, you get to count multiple shots because now they get 3 shots
And
to
it's
win.
in the freaking studio too. It's ugh.
Yeah.
Dang it. Anyways, point remains.
Doublelift does have 8.
Okay. So Sven is at 7 right now. He will go to 8, assuming they win this. Or no. Sorry. Am I wrong? No, he'll go to 7 if they win this. Because he has 3 with G2, and he has 3 with C9. 1 is ADC, 2 is support. Or will he have 4? Why am I blanking on this right now? Holy shit. So Sven didn't win 2019. 2020, he goes to Cloud9, wins spring, so that's 1. They collapse in 2020 summer. 2021 spring is Cloud9 again with Sven. So that's 2. Then they win 2 with him as support last summer and here. So he'll have 5 after this. Right? I'm right in assuming that, correct? I just did this math earlier.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chat, back me up on this. Sven, if he wins this, will have 5 LCS titles, correct? 2020, 2021, 2020 summer. Yes, okay, so this will be his 5th one. So he will have 8. At what point do we start considering Sven for GOAT of LCS? Like one of the tops. If we're talking about Blabber in that conversation, when do we start including Sven?
How many does he actually have? What'd you guys get to?
He has 7 right now.
Just in LCS?
4 in LCS right now. He's gonna have 5. He's literally at the same pace as Blabber.
And he has all those EU ones. I mean, he's
And-
close to a Western.
And he's got Worlds semifinal with G2, I think. Was it semifinal with 2017 G2?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe GOAT EU import, but he still hasn't beat Bjerg. I don't think... I think you'd be reaching really hard. You'd have some serious recency bias.
Okay, I will agree with that, but let me ask you this. He wins this year, and then he wins both next year, or just one next year.
Because I'm going to say this because you probably reach to a more newer LCS audience. I know you have some older fans as well.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to people who are older fans. But Bjergsen at the time literally changed like LCS and made it way more competitive. Because at the time, the talent pool in our mid lane was very bad.
Okay, but here,
and he made it go up way faster.
This is getting into the golf argument, though, of like, Jack Nicklaus was the greatest golfer of all time, but who is he playing against? Sure, you had Arnold. You had literally Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, Greg Norman. That's it. And then the fields after that just dropped off so severe. And then Tiger, but he dominates during that. Like, he's the greatest golfer, more majors than anybody else. Tiger comes in, is literally, like, in a 2-year stretch, Jack's career is great over the extended period that it was. Tiger comes in and is just the single most dominant athlete any sport has ever seen, barring Michael Phelps in the Olympics. That is undebatable, uncontestable. There's nobody that will ever come close to the level of dominance that Tiger had from 2000 to 2002. And he had a shorter career, but it was a different time.
Yeah.
So he has a little bit deeper fields. He has Phil Mickelson. He has VJ. He has Jim Furyk. He has more people that are at a higher skill caliber than him, and he's still smashing them. So granted, he has less titles, but he's arguably beating better opponents and changing the game as well. So this goes to that Bjergsen argument of, yes, Bjergsen revolutionized the game, but Blabber's also dominating. Blabber and Sven are dominating in a way that quite frankly, I just think the competition is 20 times better than what it was whenever Bjergsen was at that level. It's just gotten exponentially better. And because of that, yeah, I do weight it because there is power creep in sports as well.
Maybe. I don't know, because Bjerg was playing at a time when we had arguably some really good players. Like, we were a pretty competitive region 2016-17.
But,
Like, our Immortals teams were, like, pretty insane.
yeah, but it was still...
C9 had some really good rosters.
I'll give the C9 point I'll give, but internationally, we weren't great. 2016.
I know internationally we struggled, but that was always TSM's problem. Like,
but that's my point. Like, if you put it this way, if you put 2023,
I mean, now we're doing worse though.
Yeah, but if you put 2023 Cloud9 against Prime Bjergsen TSM, we mop the Cloud9 mops the floor with them.
Nah, this version of Cloud9 mops double lift TSM.
Yes, power creep.
Bjerg.
I'm telling you, skill creep over years is insane.
I don't think they do though.
100%.
Actually, I don't think they do.
Yeah, I bet any money on that.
DL does not lane terribly into Berserker now.
Yeah.
And you're telling me in his prime he lanes poorly into Berserker?
My point is, in his prime, it's a different game. You force them to play on today's standards in today's game, old school TSM doesn't stand a chance.
I mean, if you give them the time to learn the patch.
It doesn't matter. I don't think they get up to that level. I just think it's different. It requires a whole different level of skill that was not needed back then. That's not diminishing what they did. They revolutionized the game for that time. But power creep is a very real thing.
I think, like, yeah, the game has gotten more intense. Like, everybody's gonna be better. But I don't know. Like, today's game, yes, way better. I'm saying these same players, though, could come to today's game and figure it out and dominate.
I don't think so, because I think the practice regimen is entirely different. I think everything about the way this game is handled from a competitive point of view is different now than it was in 2015, 2016.
I mean, a lot of them have been dominating for forever. Sven's been around forever.
Yeah.
Like, Faker's been around forever.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys have been around forever, so I don't get...
But there's a clear reason why, even though they've been around forever, I mean, well, that's tough, because then you're also dealing with the age, and, like, that's a very difficult comparison to make.
Doublelift's been around for a while, and he wasn't even the worst player on his team.
I'm not saying they're going to be the worst. I'm just saying that, like, Prime Berserker, I do think is arguably better than Prime Doublelift.
Probably, yeah, but I don't think M&S is better than Bjerg in his prime.
I will agree with that. I will agree that M&S is not, like, if you were to translate and say that, yes, Bjergsen had the time to adapt to, you know, modern standards and had everything else there and had, like, the same drive, sure, I will give you Bjergsen there. But I take Fudge over Hanser, 100%. I take Blabber over Sven Skuren. Blabber's an animal.
Blabber is an animal. I'm giving you that one. The Fudge one I'm not giving you. Fudge has not done anything to prove to me that he's actually that dominant.
I think Hanser was good in an era where there weren't that many good top laners.
Fudge is like has been the Bjergsen of C9 almost at introducing them to bad international performances.
You're not wrong. Look, I am not denying that, but at the same time, if you're still gonna consider Bjergsen the GOAT despite never performing internationally, excluding IEM before you get on my ass for that, you have to give Fudge that same level of credit.
Yeah, I'm saying I think Hanser can compete with Fudge.
Okay, and then support, I don't think you're gonna argue that Sven is better than Biofrost.
No, I don't think he's better than Biofrost. Back then. I just don't. I don't know. I think Biofrost was playing insane back then.
I think you just have rose-tinted glasses, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, I think you're a little bit biased on the TSM hype train. from
I
back
mean,
then.
yeah, I'm gonna be.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
but
and I
people are
get that.
biased now. Like,
I
I'm
have
saying this C9 though hasn't done anything internationally that's made me go, dang man, they would be an unbeatable Demon King of NA. Like,
they have
you
been the
think they were
unbeatable
way
Demon
better
King of
than the
NA.
4P? Yeah, because NA's gotten worse.
I
Like,
mean,
arguably, we have gotten worse. Our ADC play is not that good
I
nowadays.
don't think I agree that we've gotten worse. I just think the game has changed and we've gotten better. I think
I mean, the gap has
I
never been bigger.
yeah, because again, like you gave Korea 10 years to evolve. No shit. You gave China 10 years to get better at the game, to understand it, to be able to min-max everything. There's no way.
Yeah, but like people say, oh man, NA has gotten so much harder. Just as like, what?
Okay, I do need to address
Well,
something in
yeah, the GOAT of
yeah, the go to
support is
support
probably
is
out.
Afromu. We're not arguing about the go to support. We're just saying overall player
Do you
Sven.
think that TL, the 4P TL, could compete with them? C9 now? You don't think they could even?
I think they're more recent, so I would say yeah, they probably could. They're way more recent. The only question mark that you have on that roster is Smithy. Smithy
I
gets
mean, you gotta remember that TSM roster was beating Impact, who's somehow been considered one of the best tops for almost ever in LCS.
yeah.
Wild Turtle, he's been around forever in LCS, managing to get on rosters. Like,
Yeah, but there, you know as damn well as I do, there's a difference between managing to get on a roster and like actually being top tier.
yeah, he hasn't been top tier, I'll give you that. But a lot of the lesser talent he has cooked.
Fair.
Like, you're telling me this year our ADCs have been great in compared to years prior?
Yes. Undoubtedly, yes. Are you kidding me? FBI was
Maybe
the
Berserker.
FBI was the best ADC in the LCS prior to Berserker getting in. That's the standard we have, and I love FBI. Don't take this as me just like overly shitting on him. But let's not deny that when
He's
Double Lift fell off and retired after 2020,
okay.
there was a massive gap. A
Yeah,
massive
huge gap.
gap. Until Danny came along and until like FBI held that title for a while, for about a year, where there was just nobody else that was really like on that level. It was FBI, Sven,
Yeah.
and who else? Who was the third? I don't even know. I can't even name it. I literally
Yeah.
can't. Whereas then this past like last year, then things start stepping up. Then you have Danny. Then you have Berserker. Then you still have FBI there. Now you have Yawn on top of that, who's been playing incredibly well and is at that level. FBI is still top tier now. Berserker is, I would argue, the best, like on track to become the best ADC the LCS has ever had.
Yeah, he is.
He's
Well,
about to win 3 of his first 4 splits.
That's pretty insane.
That's nuts. Has that ever been done besides like
I don't know.
like C9, like early C9?
Uh,
I cannot think of a player that has a 75% win rate on LCS titles.
yeah, I don't know. I can't think of one. Biofrost? Yeah, he won his first 3.
Did he?
Yeah, he came in that summer
Yeah,
and they
he
won
came, and then they
3
won.
in a row. But he's not that good, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's barely better than, your average bum today, so
Exactly.
he could barely beat Treats, to be honest.
Okay, see, Lewis just backed me up on this. The top 3 ADCs whenever Double Lift retired were Tactical, FBI, and Wild Turtle. Wild Turtle's not even top 5 anymore.
No. And Tactical, there was a time when Tactical was good in this league.
I would argue he's still on that same level. Tactical was never had like that high of a high.
You think others just got that much better?
Yeah. I think
I could see that.
I think
Honestly, I could see
I
that.
think Stixay has stepped up massively from
True.
from when he was playing
Dude,
during that
I even
time.
forgot about that. Stixay's been around forever winning.
We have Prince in the league now. Like
Like,
despite
obviously, leagues get better. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, obviously the play gets better. I just think a lot of our older guys could come in and still win today. Like, if you just picked them up from then, dropped them in and said, go learn the game and play solo queue.
I mean TSM did that with Hanser and finished 7th, so you know.
No, I'm saying from then. I said pick
No,
them up
I know.
from
I
then.
was
Yeah.
making a
Oh,
terrible
okay,
joke.
yeah.
I was making a terrible joke.
Okay. I was like, I mean, we did. We took the corpses of some of them from back then. But, like, I don't know. I just don't buy that, like, our older teams couldn't figure it out. I think they could.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But I mean, this whole episode took. I do want to talk
Huge turn.
Yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about NRG and TL. Like, because that's the problem is whenever you go down this rabbit hole, it's like, okay, we're assuming that C9 is going to win, which is good. That gives levity or that gives gravity to the situation. Like, if any of these teams pull off an upset on C9, it should show you how big of an upset that really is. Cloud9 has not dropped a single game all postseason. That speaks for itself. Yeah. So for NRG, is it like, barring Palafox and Dokla, like getting that stage rush and stepping up massively, is there a world where they beat TL?
NRG, yeah. TL's not a perfect team at all. They, like, just have, I don't know what it is. They consistently choke. Like, in big moments. They get caught out or something happens where they make the game so much harder than it has to be. I don't know why they do it.
I'll be honest, I just don't see it.
And I don't see TL losing to them.
Yeah, that's my point. I don't, like, there's only 5% of scenarios where I see TL losing this series. And I'm going to be honest with, like, again, I love him to death. He won us the title with FBI. Love you, buddy. But he's also never played well on the big stage. Nearly lost to Kaori on EG last year. Barely getting 100 Thieves to the finals where they got smashed by C9. EG finals against Danny, got put in a body bag.
Yeah.
Anytime that he's been on an actual big stage, he has not played well. And that includes Worlds. I haven't seen him perform well at Worlds yet. So, that's my point of worry. If FBI can be the guy that he is during the regular season on stage, then sure, NRG has a chance, has a very good chance. But I don't see that happening. He's shown me enough to know that's not going to be the case, and that's with who he's shot calling for him.
I mean, yeah, you're definitely right. Like, there's a lot of issues for him that I just don't think are gonna work out. But the thing is, like, I don't know. I want to say TL should stop them because TL's talent is so good and TL's playing really well. But there's just that back of your mind thing that TL, for some reason, nobody can explain it, keeps consistently choking. I don't know why. Like,
I mean, have they though? In playoffs,
or
have they
making it
choked?
hard.
In playoffs though, have they choked?
Yeah, they've lost to NRG so far.
Yeah, okay. Why did they lose to NRG? Let's answer that question.
Because they were, I guess,
there's one clear reason.
Their rookies just weren't ready.
APA ran it down that series.
Yeah.
Hard. Very, very hard.
You think that their rookies have gotten that much better playing against bad opponents?
Yes. Yawn, to be fair, in that series, Yawn was still playing well. So this isn't about Yawn. Like, this is solely about APA. APA, you go from, like, that NRG series to every other game that he's played so far, night and day difference. He like, in my mind, he had to get those first, like, playoff series jitters out of the way. Which is why, to be fair, I do worry about that come the final stage.
Yeah.
Both APA and Yon have never played in this crowd. Now, luckily, they have to play against Dokla and Palafox, who also have never played on that, like in front of that crowd. But it is going to be like there's a clear world where APA does struggle in this series.
Yeah.
And comes out the gate and just runs it down and like struggles to get his emotion in check. But there's also a world where him and Yon get enhanced by the moment and TL just becomes unstoppable. Because let me ask you this. Let me ask you what. Sorry, I don't mean to keep ranting.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
No, ask.
Going into finals weekend of 2022 spring, did you have EG winning?
Finals weekend.
They played against Team Liquid in the losers finals, and then went on to play 100 Thieves in the winners finals.
When they were.
There's no world where you can honestly tell me you had EG favored over TL.
No.
Exactly. What happened? They got on stage. They had that one miracle moment, and all of a sudden, clicked. They're just all of a sudden the best team in the region. And then obviously, like the whole shit in summer happened that has nothing to do with like the actual gameplay. Like that is what it is. But like TL was struggling, sure. NRG coming off of a loss to Cloud9 could struggle a little bit as well. Come like similar story, come out the gate hot. But all it takes is just to get a little bit hot. And there's a clear blueprint on how to beat C9, and that is get early leads and actually close it out. Don't give up that team fight in mid game that's going to cost you the game.
Now, I do think like the thing is TL hands wise is so much better than NRG.
Yeah.
Like Piosik genuinely, I know Contracts has been playing really well these playoffs. Don't get me wrong. But Piosik is a much better player right now, the way he's been playing. Yeah. So top side, if they can get it rolling, I could see where they do that upset. I just don't know because, well, not NRG, C9. Like, if they win this one and go on, maybe. It's just that APA is a big question mark.
Yeah.
And I know this makes me think, I know we keep doing talks of other things, but I know you tweeted JoJo possibly C9 or something about that. Like, get it over with. JoJo TL is a lot better.
Sure, but I think JoJo...
For upgrade-wise.
Yes and no. Here's the thing.
And who has the money? TL always has money.
Okay, fair, but I will say this. Do you think JoJo succeeds in a world or on a team where literally nobody's paying attention to him? Because APA is currently on a team where they show voice comms. He literally doesn't get to talk to his team at all. He literally just goes in and is luckily on the same page and like has a base level understanding of what like the team wants and needs him to do and does it. But he doesn't get to talk to them at all. Do you think that's going to go well with JoJo? I don't think so.
I think they can learn enough English by the time he would get there because Core and Yan know English.
Yeah.
So the other two just have to learn it. Like,
I don't think...
At that point, though, let's be honest. If you sign JoJo, you're telling like Summit and Piosik they have to learn it, because JoJo is a bigger name than those two. At that point.
Sure, but I just think I don't think there's any denying that JoJo Pune on C9 with Blabber is just the most disgusting mid jungle combo.
No, it's
in the league.
Better. I'm saying though, like there's one team in the league that actually could get him.
Yeah.
That we haven't really talked about that has way more money than C9 or is more willing to spend.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Everything. And what do you do with APA? You send him away. What do you mean?
APA will get a starting job on literally any LCS team that he wants that doesn't have that. That is not eyeing JoJo. JoJo is like that's the way this offseason is gonna go. JoJo is the number one asset that people are looking at. Will EG sell him and give him away? If they do, then yes, JoJo's top 1%. If they don't, APA is second now. APA has done more than enough to get himself, like, any team is looking at him and being like, I can build around this kid.
And to be clear, because I think I've seen a ton of Twitter rumors and people asking in chat, and I haven't really thought about it, but it could be possible that if EG does sell, like the assets they have are JoJo and Unforgiven.
Yeah. Actually,
That
I
is the
think just
asset.
JoJo, isn't it?
Do they not have Unforgiven anymore?
I think I think Unforgiven's contract runs out this year. I think it's literally only JoJo.
Oh, because if you're buying EG, you're trying to keep those two.
Oh yeah, like that's your biggest
Like,
selling point to investors. Like, hey,
yeah,
you got this
two.
guy for one more year. If you can convince him to stay, that's on you, not me. But like,
Yeah. Like it. I don't know. That's just what you do. You look at that and you try to get one of them.
agreed.
Now, TL tried to spend all that money for Faker allegedly, right? Offered like a stupid amount of money.
Yep.
Why would you not spend that stupid amount of money and just go get JoJo?
Because Faker's better brand deal wise. Faker brings you so much more than JoJo does outside of the Rift.
I guess it's fair.
That's why. Because
Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
the same thing with like Messi coming to Miami. Like, are there other players that might be similar skill, not similar skill to Messi, but like, up there at least somewhat close? Yeah, but you're paying for the brand value. They're selling out
Yeah.
tickets every single time. If you think that LCS Arena wouldn't sell out to see Faker anytime that he plays in North America, it would. Despite
I
my gripes with it being in fucking LA.
I think you could spend half the money you would on Faker and get JoJo though.
Oh, I agree. I just don't think it's as big of brand value as they
It
would want.
definitely isn't. But if there's a well, I don't know if TL could push that enough. Like TL should be able to figure out a way to make it work.
I also just don't think it's gonna
Should.
happen. Like I don't know.
Probably won't.
I just think like if JoJo leaves EG, it's only gonna be for C9 in my mind.
You think they have the money though to buy him out?
I think salaries are gonna drop so much in the LCS this offseason that yeah, C9 will have the money for it. And that's not saying
Think
that C9
TL would
has
let
money
that deal
bags.
happen?
Yeah.
That's the big thing. You think they'd let it happen?
Assuming TL wants to have a similar roster construction to what they have now, yeah, I do.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
We've only got 15 more minutes. So you haven't been on Twitter to see Emily's predictions for the week, have you?
I saw it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you know that she's picking TL for both times.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Is there anything else you want to talk about with finals weekend before I move on to a bigger topic that's completely unrelated but related?
No. I'm ready to go. What is it?
Whenever I get settled in the new apartment next week, the first video that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a reaction video to the top 5. I don't know if they're called ATEEZ or ATEEZ or whatever the pronunciation is of the K-pop group that is likely going to be doing the world song this year. But what that means to me, if you're having them as a K-pop group come in, I don't think you're having KDA. Which worries me a lot for this
Yeah.
opening ceremony. I am terrified now because last year, you think about how they do the world's like opening ceremony. If they have KDA, then like KDA is like a pretty large portion of that, which then just directly goes from like KDA to the world song, and like that's it.
Mhm.
This year, there was no cinematic at the beginning of the year, so we had no song like The Call. We've had nothing all year music wise that would give you a hint as to what this opening ceremony is going to look like. And if ATEEZ or whatever they're pronounced are doing the song here, that still leaves a big question of like, what is the opening ceremony? And I've seen rumors about this, not even rumors, just people talking about it on social media. But do you know what happened in 2020 prior to them pivoting for that not so great KDA opening?
No.
Or sorry, 2021. No, sorry, I'm mistaken. 2021, whenever COVID shut down Worlds.
No.
They built out an entire Piltover and Zaun that they were going to build for the World's final stage, and we were literally going to play World's finals in Piltover to celebrate
That would've been cool.
Arcane and have Imagine Dragons there doing a live performance of Enemy and then having like a whole Arcane thing.
Yeah, that would have been pretty sick.
People wanted Arcane Season 2 in 2023, but obviously it's not here. What if for the world's opening ceremony, we're having a K-pop group do the world song because it's in Korea, but then we're having the Arcane Season 2 official teaser and launch, like marketing campaign launch, with the song, with everything else that's going to be coming.
That'd be pretty sick if they did it.
And then you start doing that, and then the show launches in spring of next year.
That'd be cool. I could dig that. That would be a sick Worlds tease.
That's the only thing giving me hope, because right now, otherwise, I'm panicking about this World's opening ceremony. It's not that I don't trust Riot to do a good job with it. It's just that we have Riot has dropped the ball in every other aspect leading up to that there's nothing to really build off of yet. So you have to build this entire show from scratch, which makes it a lot tougher. You have nothing that you're connecting with the League audience on. So unless you're really dropping something new, and it's probably not going to be KDA because of this, you're fighting an uphill battle.
That's fair. That is fair. But I could see them... I don't know, I think they'll be able to push it out. They'll work it out. The Arcane idea would be really cool. But if they do a whole K-pop group, they can still do KDA with them, I feel like.
I don't think they can, no.
You don't think they can?
It doesn't make sense from a marketing point of view. You're going to be trying to...
you can do two together.
Nah, I don't... Maybe. I just don't... Labels don't typically like that. Like, KDA is a purely Riot Games own thing, and while yes, a tease is going to come in and work with Riot for this song, it in recent years has been still on the label of the artist, not with Riot Games. Like Lil Nas X, for example, was not Riot Game. Like, even though I think they had some rights to it, like they put out notes that it's like not DCM or DMCA friendly and everything else like that because it's with Lil Nas X's label. So assuming you're doing the same with a tease here, I don't think Riot's going to be able to be like, yeah, we're going to throw in KDA as well, when they know that like a KDA comeback again is going to like cause massive ripple effects in the K-pop industry.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's going to be pretty interesting. Yeah.
I know.
I mean, I don't really have a ton on it because I'm not like a opening ceremony guy, so.
I know. I feel bad shifting it to this, but like this is my world that I live in. Like
you're a huge opening ceremony
media,
guy.
Entertainment, like Disney, like all that. Like this plays right into like what I love, and it's like, oh, like trying.
I'm the guy who shows up for the.
You're there for the fireworks from the show.
Yeah. I hear a cool song and I go, nice bonus, and then they get to the League of Legends and I'm like, nice.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here like the dude from It's Always Sunny, trying to piece everything together, being like, how are they going to implement this marketing strategy? What's their appeal? What's their angle on this? And I noticed chat slowed down too whenever I started talking about this. It's like, look, I know I'm a nerd. I know I'm the only one that gives a shit about this. But at the end of the day, like,
you're breaking it all down, and meanwhile I'm sitting there like, all right, come on, China, figure it out.
Now, the only other thing I will say to bring this back to LCS finals, because I do want to get your thoughts on questions and conversations I should have on this. Travis Gafford noted that he was probably sitting down with John Needham and Nas from LoL Esports to do like a full video and stuff like that. Sunday at LCS finals from 12 to 2, there's an LCS brunch with media and esports leadership. Now, I don't think I'm going to get to record any of this, quite frankly, nor do I want to. I don't, like, unless I had time to, like, actually prepare for, like, this interview and, like, everything else like that, like, I wouldn't want to do that. I just want to go in and have a casual conversation with Nas and John, which I had the last time one of these events happened at Worlds. I just want to be solid on, like, what I asked them. And I don't want to sound dumb or, like, because I know people have talked to them about this consistently, of like the future of esports, like what direction do they see with the LCS? Like, and to be fair to chat and to everybody else watching this, all these conversations at these brunches are off the record. So I will not be able to tell you what happens, or even if I do get to talk to him, like it's like I'm not allowed to say anything. But I just want to talk it out with you of like what pressing conversation would you want to have with Nas or John if you had the chance to talk to him?
I would. I mean, I don't want to have you say this because it would. I feel like they would all just. There'd be a lot of eye rolls at the table from other media people hearing you say it.
Well, no,
But I.
this to be fair, this is very casual. This is like if I'm talking to them, it's not like a
Okay.
bunch of other people at the table. It's like everybody mingling around. Like I get, you go up, you introduce yourself, say hi again, and then you have like a 5-minute chat, just one on one, or maybe within like a very small group. So like
My
don't worry about that.
my big thing is that I'm wondering is like two questions. Either A, my first question I'm really curious about is why is the collegiate scene not being pushed harder as the developmental like side of League of Legends? Or the other question is like what really is like is there any hope ever in a roadshow idea? At least like two is a split. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying for finals. Finals would be the third.
No,
I guess
I
three is
know.
split. I'm saying like 2 of the weeks, go out there and do a super week in some city and get people going. Because my big thing I'm trying to figure out is what is with their neglect of the East Coast. Like,
Barring like the one
there's,
event per year, or
yeah,
well,
there's
two.
too many people that they're not tapping into in the East, Eastern Seaboard that's like gonna hurt them.
The
Like,
the thing, so the counterpoint that I like, I want you to keep asking these questions. I'm basically like, let's role play here a bit. I'm acting as on behalf of Nas and John,
yeah.
and I want you like I'm gonna push back on your questions, and you come at me. My response to that would be we are having sponsors pull out at a rapid rate that we haven't had before because interest in the league is waning at a rapid level, as is seen by the fact that we did host events in Charlotte.
Hmm.
Granted, it was on Easter Sunday, but now we're hosting it in Jersey as well, and we weren't able to fill out the stadium either. And we're seeing a decrease in the number of fans show up. So why would we invest like the exponentially higher cost to put on these road shows on the East Coast more often for what is clearly diminishing returns?
Yeah, then I guess the counter question is, well, what is your digital plan
Digital
to
plan.
gain these people? Because you're clearly, if you're not going to the East, the only way you're going to get people is either through digital or do they have some watch party plan? Like, do you want to use a watch party to get East Coast people feeling like they should care about League of Legends in person? Because at the end of the day, sports are community. It's about coming together. And the digital aspect of sports, while it was cool in 2020, is never going to truly overtake eventually being able to get together with people and enjoying the sport in some capacity. You have to have somebody to talk about it with.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have somebody, or else you see what we're seeing right now,
Yep.
which is the second COVID ends and everyone's allowed back outside, nobody's tuning in.
Yeah.
Like, so I would just
The
wonder what their digital plan is.
the digital plan that I would say is that we are going to shift the LCS back to weekends to try and get back on more stable footing. We tried out weekdays and we were going like whether they want to admit it or not, I'm taking this stance on behalf of Metaphorical Riot. We thought that we could capture an international audience by
Yeah.
shifting the LCS to weekdays, and unfortunately that did not work out. We didn't get to put it at the time zone that we wanted because we just quite frankly are not seeing enough growth in North American fans that we wanted to rely on international, but the community
Mhm.
in general was too outraged at large. So we're shifting it back to weekends, trying to capture a little bit more of that by having the raids from the LEC and just overall relying on North America to just perform better internationally, because we believe that international results are ultimately going to be what drives interest in the esport, given that player base numbers are relatively steady. And the product is good in itself. We have made very heavy strides over the last year to be able to improve the broadcast, improve our content, and improve everything else around it. Yet, despite all that, viewership's dropping off.
Yep. Then I'll just be like, okay. I mean, if that's the plan, is just to keep trying that and going at it, and money's pulling out and there's no money left, then I don't know what else you do. Other than that's where like my first, I think the most important point is I would really like to see a push into collegiate.
Yeah.
Like I
Because
think,
they can eat more of the cost.
yep, start letting collegiate. That's a good point too. I wasn't even thinking about. That's why we have you here. You're a finance guy. Like, why not push harder into collegiate? Get colleges going. They're already, all these colleges are revamping the idea of what is it? Super conferences.
Yep.
So you're not gonna have to worry about the NCAA because the NCAA is blowing up as is right now. And this is your shot to go get collegiate athlete to be a real big thing and use colleges as that kind of bounce off.
Yeah.
Because at this point, league isn't really built for the American system. It's the same as soccer. Like, soccer isn't built for the American system, but any opinion on the Tigers? I don't think the Tigers is pushing viewers down at an unsustainable rate. I think it's just how things go. But I will say, I think college is really the way to save it. You got to have something that people can dig into.
I agree with you
at this point, because yeah, everything you've said, and it sounds like what they're doing, while we're obviously not them and we're just role playing, is probably actually what's happening there.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't look like there's an actual path to sustainability.
I can't reveal who, but I've had people come in my DMs be like, the league's gonna die. And it's like, I look, the more and more we have these conversations, the more and more I can see a path as to how that happens. I can see it, especially with viewership being as abysmal as it was this split. Average viewership never went above 80K.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. But I don't know. We'll see. On a positive note, Call of Duty's looking incredible this year. Even if they are just giving us the same shit from 2009 all over again. And I'm happy about it. I don't give a shit. It's literally Modern Warfare 2 all over again, and I'm just sitting here getting excited like a little schoolboy.
I mean, hey, they're gonna have to try something because the game isn't really dying everywhere in the world. The only country that's having like trouble with players is China, but that was because of a law instituted by the country.
Yep.
That's not actually like the game dying in China. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens, but
yeah,
I don't know.
You gotta go, right?
Yeah, I gotta go in 10 minutes.
Oh, in 10 minutes? Okay. I thought you had to go
now. But I don't know. I really do hope that your conversation with them is something positive, because right now it seems like all the answers are what you just gave.
Yeah.
Which is like, if that is the case, we're in a serious pickle.
Yeah.
Like, we're not gonna make it like that.
No.
We just aren't.
And that's where it's like, any conversations that I have with people, like if there's positive things that come from it, I'll let you all know that like my outlook on things is positive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just oh Jesus Christ, I gotta get some other answer than what we're getting right now, to be able to have more faith than I do. because the worry keeps creeping in more and more. And I'm a little bit nervous for this weekend's event, in that I hope the stadium is full. I really do. Do I think it's gonna be? Probably not. Tickets were fairly expensive. It's like $65 a day, which is a lot for people. I mean,
Yeah.
not a lot in the grand scheme of things. Like, sure, I'm paying $200 to see the weekend, but like, it's the weekend. It's a little bit different. And I get you're arguably getting more bang for your buck with this, but you're also dealing with a crowd that generally does have less money. So, okay, Luna, we gotta.
And like, cause right now, I mean, I'm gonna pay way more than that for tickets to football games, but that's cause it's NFL football. But like, I don't know. I really hope they can put it together. That's my only thing. I don't really have a sustainability plan for them. That's also not really my job. So it's kind of on them to have a sustainability plan. And the fact that it's gotten to where it's gotten, I think, is
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where we're speculating information on their behalf just to try and get any sort of answer or plan.
Yeah. I think they gotta figure that out. Like, every league has downtimes, and there's ways to figure out how to fix it. I think that letting the league get this Thursday, Friday might have been the dumbest idea possible.
Oh.
Like, almost killed the league. Like, this could go down in history as the worst thing they ever did.
Yeah. In 20 years, we'll have a top 10 watch.
Yeah.
Not Watch Mojo. I miss Mojo. These are the top 10 dumbest decisions in esports.
Yeah.
Number one.
No, it'll be.
Number one is going to be the Overwatch League. $60 million per buy-in was always going to just be dumb. Number two will be the LCS going to weekdays.
I mean, I think what'll be our nail in the coffin will be the Sunny V2 video. What happened to the LCS?
Con, if it's Thursday, Friday next year, we've lost the plot. Like,
yeah.
Like, if put it this way, if it comes out that our schedule is going to remain exactly the same, and LCS management is saying, yeah, you know what, it's fine, weekdays are there, I'm calling for every one of them to lose their jobs. Like, I'm not trying to save any relationships. I don't even know who's in LCS executive management at this point, but every single person that's responsible for that decision should lose their goddamn job if that's the case. Because you are actively killing the league.
There's no, like, you can maybe get your speculative friend to watch the game on a Saturday or Sunday, but there's no chance on a Thursday night when there's football on. Well, there isn't really football on for LCS during the year, but there's no way in the summer I'm getting a friend on a Thursday night to watch LCS. I'm just not.
No.
Like,
even in spring.
I don't know.
Even in spring.
Oh, especially spring when there's sports. Yeah.
Like,
when there's other sports, it's impossible.
And the thing is, like, even if there's more sports on the weekend, you still have more free time.
And we're losing TSM, who's not a viewer draw, I'm gonna say, but is losing TSM in what possibly EG, like, at this point is like not great for viewership. Those are two fairly established at this point orgs. Luckily their owners were dicks, so they're gonna be the fan base has already dwindled more, so that shouldn't be too big of a hit, but I feel like that's gonna be a hit.
I need to follow,
unless we get like a Sentinels in.
Maybe. But I need to follow up on Khan's point. He said, I get you agree with us, but I want to know your thoughts and rationale behind this. If they believe, Riot isn't dumb. If they are saying, okay, well, you know what? Viewership was exactly the same in playoffs as it was during the regular season, during weekdays versus weekends. Like, if viewership didn't change all that much, what then is the driving force for why you lost 30%, like almost half of your viewership? Like, what is that answer? Because that it can't just be nothing. There is a reason for that. And you need to be able to have a good explanation for that. And if there isn't one that you can think of, then it is people just slowly tuning out because of weekday versus weekend. And by
Yeah,
this point, whenever
100%.
whenever you swap back on the weekend, it's too late. People have already tuned out.
And
Like,
it's definitely bleed over people we're losing. It's the ones who would go from LEC to LCS.
yeah.
Like, you're just losing them because there's no more LCS on the
But
weekend, so they
but
found new
assuming
hobbies.
assuming it's not even that. Assuming sure their point of like it's not the weekends, like that bleed over isn't like the main thing. Where'd the 30,000 people go? Did they just what are we doing wrong that they're not interested anymore? That they're not watching? There's no way 30,000 people just magically had kids and then all of a sudden like they're busy with families and everything else. Like sure, like people move on, life goes on, but like the LCS hasn't changed all that much. They were TSM fans? Maybe.
No, I
Maybe. I
highly
don't
doubt
know.
it. I don't think TSM was the backbone holding LCS up.
No, they weren't.
I think it's people working. Like, it's just how it is. Thursday, Friday is not easy days to pick. Like, they definitely lost me as a viewer because of work. I mean, but that's just life. I work nights for the military, so Thursday, Friday is going to lose me. Like,
I gotta follow up on Khan's point. He said, so from what I've been told, it is the bad time slot during the day, and the drop within LCS year to year is comparable to LEC. So they just think it's less people wanting to watch the LCS anymore. Then why do you have the LCS? If you can't, as a business, if Riot Games is just sitting here like, oh, we lost 30K people, and you don't have an answer for that, other than just people wanted to stop watching, then you're not doing your fucking job. You shouldn't be there. If that's not raising alarm bells in your head, besides just, oh, well, people don't want to watch it anymore, then that's a problem. And I'm not saying
yeah,
that they're not thinking that, because I can promise you they're not dumb. They're looking at those numbers and people are worried for their jobs.
yeah.
But, like,
And Rob is right. When you take into account TSM plus Bjerg plus DL fans plus CLG, and now possibly EG, like, we're talking most of the fan bases disappearing, most of the people who brought you into the league. Jensen, while good, didn't really have people watching him, like diehard fans.
yep.
And the carryover guy to carry everybody into the new era was Danny, who got mismanaged to all hell. So when the carryover guy goes out as well, who's that leave? It's just C9 fans right
Yep.
now.
And C9 fans aren't enough to carry it.
Not alone.
They don't
No
have
single fan
that
and TL
broader
fans.
they don't
I
have
bet.
that broader appeal. I don't know. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
We did not do enough to usher ourselves into this next generation effectively.
No.
And now we're the thing that I agree with everybody like that's been talking about like Evo and the CS majors and everything else is like you can still plant the seeds now for the betterment of tomorrow. Even Disguised Toast talked about that in his interview. He's like, look, you got to start doing things now to see the benefit of them 5 to 6 years from now.
Which is those, I would use every ounce of funding you have left for what we were talking about with those small theater shows.
Yep. You have to.
Small theaters. It'll look fine if only 2,000 people are there. Are you going to make money? I don't know. Probably not. Let's be honest. But the important thing is you're getting people in other areas to finally get some connection.
Yeah.
Like, and by small theater, it's still 2,000 to 3,000 people.
Yeah, it's not
Like,
nobody.
Yeah, it's not nobody. It's a good amount of people. It builds up some hype, and look how many wonders it's been doing for LEC's underleagues.
And Call of Duty
EMEA
League.
has been cooking with it.
Call of Duty
True,
League's been
Call of
doing
Duty
this
League
forever.
too.
And look at that. Call of Duty League is now bigger than the LCS.
Yeah,
Undoubtedly. Like, undisputed. They are bigger than the LCS. But I know you got to go. So
I do.
we'll wrap this up.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Be sure to watch LCS Finals this weekend. If you're going to be at Finals, come find me. Say hi. I'll be around all weekend hanging out and having a good time. Hope to see you there. Again, my prediction, I think Cloud9 sweeps this series, but hopefully we get something competitive. We will see. Any final words, Paul? Yeah, of course.
I think we all agree.
Exactly. All right. Everybody have a phenomenal night. We'll catch you later.
Bye.
And stream.